Episode 1, Falling into Change, the Window and the Bunk Bed. At first glance, all you see are 2 bunk beds and 2 windows. But if you look closer, you'll notice the details. There's a military cap and boots, a few backpacks and blankets. This was a 4-person room on the 2nd floor at the Joint Forces Training Base in Los Alamitos. The date was in October of 2024. Now, on the other side of those windows, there's more buildings to the left, a field, a landing strip facing the Pacific Ocean, and it's in Orange County, California. Now, this is what I returned to after being released from the ER with a concussion, a fractured cheek, a fractured left foot, and a fractured wrist. Not to mention a huge black eye and bruises everywhere. The top bunk stood about 6 feet tall, and I was sleeping there with my head towards the window. And around 3 a.m, I somehow rolled off in my sleep. Now, my face smashed into the window pane. I think that's where I knocked out. My wrist hit the desk, my foot caught the chair, and I flipped before landing flat on the floor next to my combat boots on the other side of the bunk bed. I don't remember much, and my battle buddies told me most of the details. What I do know is that the fall changed everything. At the time, I was 2 months away from ending my military career, but because of the injury, and it happened on duty, my timeline was extended by another 6 months for paperwork and processing. What was supposed to be a 13-year career or 13 years of service became 13 and a half with a VA disability claim attached. Now, why does that matter? Well, at 13 years, I would leave as a veteran, but not a retiree. I'm not going to be retired. That's at 20 years. But a VA disability claim means I'd receive a monthly disability check even after ending my contract, as long as I process the paperwork and get approved. Now, why is this important? Many service members get hurt while serving, but they can't prove it. They walk away with hidden injuries that only show up later in civilian life. And by then, it's often too late to file a claim, and they're just left to endure the pain or just deal with it and move forward. I was one of the lucky ones. My injuries, though painful, were documented. I had witnesses and I have a paper trail, but many of my brothers and sisters in uniform, they don't get that chance. And some of them, they just don't return at all. When we join, we all get issued a window to look out of, a bunk to sleep in, but only time tells how our story ends when our contract ends. For me, it was supposed to end with a concussion, a black eye, and a VA disability claim. Not the exit I expected, but in its own way, it's a positive one. And I have chapter 2 to that one. Because whatever you think about the military, just know this. Every one of us has a reason why we joined. And every one of us has a story about why we left. And if for some reason it involves a window and a bunk bed, chances are it's going to be a little funny too. Now, let me break it down a little bit more. So that's my story. But how is this a hidden curriculum? Well, as my cat's coming over here, I was ready to get out. I was supposed to get out in December, and this injury happened in October. So I was 2 months away from getting out of the military. I wasn't ready to do a VA claim. I have not been deployed in the 13 years that I have served. At that time, I do have, some pain in my knees and my hips, and I don't know how many times I've twisted my ankle, just not documented. I definitely have hearing loss, and there's a little PTSD. Even if I didn't get deployed, there's still some PTSD because I have to leave my family once a month, and sometimes I leave them for longer than that. And other times, if there's emergencies in the state, we all get called, and I have to say goodbye within hours. So there's a lot of stress with being in the California or just being in the Guard because we are part-time soldiers and really full-time civilians. Most of us have civilian jobs and are called into duty for 2 to 3 days out of the month and 2 weeks for annual training. But it's not very extensive of a VA disability claim. So I was very hesitant to do it. I did start it as in I put in my intention to process some paperwork. But come October of 2024, my wrist is still messed up. I have pain in my foot. I get really bad knee pain on my left knee. I have all of this documented through my personal provider, and I feel like I can put something in there after this VA, after this injury. But what it also really made me realize is there are other service members out there that don't do it at all because they maybe felt like me too. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm perfectly fine. And then I've had conversations with some of my fellow battle buddies who have been in for more than 15 years, almost retiring, and so many of their body parts are hurting emotionally. There's definitely some pain. So there's that physical pain, there's emotional pain, there's that mental health that they're dealing with that maybe came back afterwards, even if deployment happened years prior. So it's really important as a service member, if you are currently in any injuries at all, really work at getting that VA disability claim going. I do have resources on my notes if you have any questions, and you can always kind of email me. I'm not an expert. Please, I'm still in the process of going through the VA, but I do know that I have battle buddies who have gone through it, and they're at different percentages. And it's kind of a little bit of a funny story of the reason why I actually joined the military at 32. I was trying to get a job. It was a government job. I have to pause because it's a funny reason. Like, really, you joined the military for that? So one of the things about this federal job was that if the person was a veteran and if they had any type of percentage of disability on there, they were going to be ranked higher than a civilian who had the education, had the experience, et cetera, et cetera. And I was devastated when I lost the job to a veteran. And at that moment, I said, you know what? Let me go check in. Let me go see about this military. How do I become a veteran? I want to be the one that takes the job from another civilian. Yes, that was me. So I joined the military so that one of many reasons, so that I can have that veteran status. And mind you, I have some bachelor's and I have some master's degrees on me. So, and experience, plenty of experience. And so now you add the veteran, and if I do get this VA disability claim, how about when I always like to say when instead of if. When I get this VA disability claim, I'll have a percentage. And boom, bam, boo, thank you, ma'am. I might have a story to tell in the near future of me getting another job at the federal level because of not only my experience and my education, but now, I'm also a veteran and have some disability there. But that was definitely one of the reasons for me to reconsider joining the military. And the other reason why I want to talk about this story is I was so upset. I was angry. I was hurt. I was confused. I didn't know why that happened to me. I didn't understand why I fell off a bunk bed and dominoed my way from a window pane and a desk and a chair to the floor, all on my left side. I was so upset, so upset because at that moment, I could not see why I was going through that storm. Even worse, my battle buddies, they they were so kind. So when I woke up to hearing my name, I had a concussion. So I knocked out and I heard my name being yelled. When I woke up, I just started groaning like in pain. I was in so much pain and my face was on fire. My wrist was on fire. I didn't realize my foot was injured until I had to go down some stairs because I was on the second floor. But my vanity was questionable because of my face. I felt my face. And I remember saying, is my face okay? Like, what is wrong with my face? I couldn't even have the lights on because of the concussion. It hurt so much when they turned on the lights. I had them turn it off. And I had paper towels in my eyes. So I'm wearing these glasses and I was wearing the glasses at that time. And they put paper towels in my eyes to protect me from the light as I was going from the room to the bathroom to down the stairs to the car to get into the ER. It just, my eyes hurt so much. And at the same time, I also felt the pain on my left side. So, really good battle buddy of mine looked at the other two and basically was like, don't tell her that her eye looks like it's popped out and her cheek is all busted out. But later on, months later, I would have this conversation and they were like, yeah, your eye looked bad. Your face looked bad. So at that moment, I didn't realize how injured my face was. When I did realize something was wrong with my face was when I actually got to the ER. And once in the ER, the intake person looked at us and basically was like, what's wrong with her? And I didn't want to speak. I forgot. I was in pain. I was in pain at that point. My foot was hurting, my wrist was hurting, my face was hurting, the lights were hurting me. I just couldn't talk. So my battle buddy that took me, my staff sergeant, she mentioned to the intake receptionist that I had fallen off a bunk bed about 6 feet tall and hurt my left side. And he looked at me because I had covered my face. So my face was covered with my hair. Again, my vanity, right? I knew something was wrong, so I covered my face. And he said, well, let me look. So I lifted up my face and he said, oh my God. I knew it right there that my face was messed up. I was so mad. I was so mad that I spoke at that moment and I said, that's not nice. Keep your thoughts to yourself. So, yeah, so the whole time I'm in the ER going through all sorts of different stations to see what exactly is wrong with me, to figure out, is it broken? Luckily they were fractured. Like, how much of a fracture was it? And just the whole time I was like, man, am I going to need surgery on my face? Is it going to be a scar forever? Like, my vanity mattered so much at that time. Who cares about my wrist and my foot? I was just worried about my face. And my face was bruised for months. But I think I'm back. I think I'm good. And now what really still is affecting me is my wrist, which again is why this VA disability claim is really important for me, because I can't lift more than 10 pounds on my left wrist. I can't do push-ups. I've been working on them, so I'm strengthening them. I got physical therapy, but there's certain movements I can't do. My foot, like I said, if I'm in combat boots or heels for too long, anything that's not flat, I feel the pain just on my left. My knees, if I'm standing for too long, somehow I really injured my left knee. So there's these little things where at that time I didn't, they're not able to catch it. But as months and days go by and I'm going back to my normal activities, or if I'm doing some military activities, I definitely feel it. And I'm very vocal to make sure it's noted on my medical record of the pain I'm experiencing from that fall off the bunk bed that was 6 feet tall, hitting a window pane, hitting a chair, hitting a desk, and then hitting the concrete floor. So that's my story. I don't have an end result yet, but I do want to say that it's so important. Anything, workers' comp, in the military, VA disability, if you get injured for any reason, please speak up, say something. You don't know the impact of that injury long term, even mentally. I feel that I might not experience the concussion issues now, but what if something in the future happens and I can at least pinpoint to, oh, that's right, I hit my head really hard this one time at 46, and so I have something to go based on of maybe why I'm maybe experiencing some mental or emotional situation going on with my brain. But at the time, it was a storm, and I was upset, and I was very angry. But today, right now, I can laugh about it. I am grateful for the experience. I'm grateful for those that were with me at the time. I'm grateful for all the support during those months when I was in the cast, both on my foot and on my wrist. And I'm grateful for the crazy looks I got with half my face being blacked out. I'm grateful for that because it made me a better person, especially if I ever see somebody else that kind of looks like they got injured in that certain way. I'm not going to look at them in a weird way. I'm just going to be like, I feel you. I don't know what you went through, good, bad, ugly, but in my mind, I almost kind of want to say like, hey, it's a blessing in disguise. I don't know what the blessing is, but there's a blessing. There's a blessing in what you are experiencing right now. So just remember that the hidden curriculum of life it's hidden. You don't know why you're going through it. And then afterwards, these beautiful things happen, these miracles or opportunities or a new understanding maybe of being grateful that you experience that situation, because now you are who you are, or now you're a better person, or now you're something good came out of it. As long as you just continue to follow the path and just keep living life, and you will know why it happened. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next episode. Sometimes the moments that break us also protect us. That fall from the top bunk didn't just leave me with scars. It gave me a perspective, and it ensured I wouldn't walk away empty-handed. Thanks so much for joining me on the Hidden Curriculum of Life. I hope today's story left you with something to reflect on, smile about, or carry with you. If you have a story to share, big or small, I'd love to hear it. You can email me at hidden.curriculum.of.life@gmail.com or connect with me on Instagram or Twitter X and also on YouTube. All of them are Hidden Curriculum of Life with Adrianne, and they will be in the notes so you can click and get there, whichever is your best method. Now let's keep uncovering the lessons life quietly teaches us all. Until next time, stay open, stay curious, and trust the journey. Bye.